And now it's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Happy New Year, everybody. We are here, strong, large, and in charge in the RoadWorthy Drive studios. The regular culprits are here. Jack at the controls.
Hello.
Sasha handling social.
Of course.
And me, what they call the talent, leading you through it. I'm your
like
host.
to argue that point.
Yeah, Ken Chester. They always do. For our first hour today, there is a vehicle. If you currently own one, and if you're driving it, the company wants you to park it and do not drive it. It's that dangerous. We'll talk about that in breaking news. Also, there's a state police department that's now launching drones. I got concerns. I don't want to get pulled over by a drone. We'll talk about that. In our topics for discussion, I'm calling this our Auto Show edition. LA Auto Show was in early December. CES is going on in early January, and immediately on the heels of that is the Detroit Auto Show, and then about 3 weeks after that is Chicago. I'm going to talk about the CES. I'm going to talk about the full title is the North American International Auto Show. I call it the Detroit Auto Show, but you know, whatever. And then I'm going to give you a first look at the show that I've been going to for the last 21 years, and that's the Chicago Auto Show, which I love, and it's going to be in February. All that, our regular banter, heck, we might even get into an argument or two right here on RoadWorthy Drive Behind the Scenes. So glad you could join us, and here we go. Jack, 11 minutes?
11, sir. Here we go.
Okay, let's do it. I know that's right. Did you say 240? Yeah, we got a problem. So are we doing this over? Are we still on? Or what's going on?
Thanks, we're
Sasha panicked.
What? Shush your face. What?
She panicked. She thought that we weren't getting out to you, so we had a technical moment. But it appears all is well, so that's why we stopped. But we're going to start the show now. This is part of the joy of being behind the scenes. You see all the wonderful stuff in real time that you don't hear on the air. So 11 minutes, sir?
11 minutes. Here we go.
Okay, let's do this.
Do you want to go faster? Yeah!
It's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester, America's premier automotive news and information talk show. Ken loves talking all about cars, past, present, and future. Here he is, that automotive nerd with a historical twist, Ken Chester.
Welcome to another information-packed hour of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm your host, Ken Chester. If this is your first time tuning in, let me show you around. First of all, RoadWorthy Drive is not your father's car show. I'm all about consumer information that you can use today, like tips on selecting, pricing, and negotiating for your next vehicle, new or used, what you need to know about insurance, heck, what you even need to know how to shop for a bank loan. And I don't stop there. We talk about all types of technology that is reshaping transportation around you, not just in the future, but right now. I break down the industry jargon in a way that you can understand, and more importantly, discuss the parts that are most important to you, the consumer, driver, or parent. Each hour of this program is chock full of information, and of course, this hour is no exception. In a few minutes, I'm going to identify a compact pickup truck that the manufacturer is cautioning owners not to drive. And if you're driving one of these, we're going to tell you, pull it over right now, park it. It's that dangerous. As well as, would you believe drones that are being used by a state police department in the United States? Keep listening to find out if it's your state, and that's in breaking news. Now, this time of year is auto show season, and for the balance of the hour, I'm going to be talking about three shows. One, the International Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and then, if time permits, give you a peek at the upcoming Chicago Auto Show at McCormick Place. All of this in this hour. Told you it was packed. But first, you're more than welcome to add your voice to the conversation. Call or text me now on the RoadWorthy Drive line at 872-222-9793. That number is good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, if email is your thing, reach out to me. That's ken@roadworthydrive.com. That's my email address. Ask a question, offer an opinion, heck, make a suggestion. It's all good. RoadWorthy Drive is a national program that requires seasoned professional at the controls in the studio to make sure all goes well as planned. That man with almost 30 years of big market radio experience is none other than my friend and RoadWorthy Drive executive producer, Jack DeLeon. Hey, Jack.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Not too bad. You like that build-up?
Yes, I like that build-up.
I'll take that quarter now.
But I'm going to make Sasha really, really happy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You're going to let me go to CES next year.
No.
No. I will tell you this. I had a meeting with the suits this week.
Yeah,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
my new car.
I was the only one that was asked to be at this meeting.
That's scary.
They were looking for new and innovative ideas.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
And I asked the suits if there was any way that they could send the three of us
uh-huh.
to Chicago for the auto show.
Nice.
Do you know what the response was I got back?
I should start packing my suitcase?
No. We need to find a sponsor to do it. So I'm going to ask right now, if there's anybody out there that would like to sponsor us to go to the Chicago Auto Show, please get a hold of Ken at ken@roadworthydrive.com.
Well, actually, truth be told, I do have a sponsor.
I know you do, but Sasha and I need one.
Sasha and Jack.
We will talk about that.
Okay.
We will talk about that.
We're going to move before we run out of time as usual. Now, Ken, I am very familiar with this vehicle that you are talking about that the manufacturer said stop driving. So please tell us what it is and why are we to stop driving it?
It's a 2006 Ford Ranger pickup.
Okay.
If you own one, if you're currently driving it,
right,
the Ford Motor Company wants you to stop driving it. And this is no joke. This is serious.
Now, is it just the 2006?
That is what the company says.
And is it there a particular model or is it all?
No, it's all the Rangers in that category.
Here's the thing. Two things. One, something that we've reported extensively here.
Yep.
Takata airbag.
Oh, boy.
Second driver was killed last year. The automaker found out about it on December 22nd.
Oh, boy.
And and I'm quoting now, the company urges owners to contact their dealers to have the truck repaired at their homes or towed to the dealership. Quote, now, here's the weird part. To give you an idea just how technical we have gotten in this industry, we're not talking about 100,000 Rangers. We're not talking about 50,000.
What are we talking?
3,000 Ford Ranger pickups.
3,000.
3,000. But bear in mind, this is a 12-year-old truck.
But they're still on the road. They're
They're
being
still on the
drivable.
road.
And quite frankly, I'm assuming that Ford's thinking they're still going to be liable for them.
Apparently.
Especially with Takata airbags.
If it's a Takata airbag. Here's the thing.
Okay.
They're willing to we've never in all the recalls that we've reported on over the last number of years, we have never seen one where the automaker said, "Do not drive it."
Wow.
This is a first. Also, that they're willing to come to your home to do the repair. And if you do get it to the dealer, they will, in fact, give you a free loaner.
Wow.
Did I mention the truck is 12 years old? In fact, the assembly plant that built it doesn't even exist anymore.
I mean, I understand that it's great and awesome that they're going to give you a free loaner, not that they're going to try and get you to buy that loaner or anything.
No, probably wouldn't under these circumstances.
No.
Because this is a safety recall.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That is crazy.
Did I mention his truck was 12 years old?
You did.
Yeah, let that settle for a minute. What kind of product liability do you know of anything else that you would still be liable after 12 years?
In this soup happy culture that we live in, this does not surprise me.
And that airbag scandal was such a huge deal.
Oh, it bankrupted the company.
Right.
And it's not a scandal. If you get killed because this airbag, one deploys
without reason.
Without reason,
right?
It's the shrapnel that's killing people. Or if you are in an accident and it deploys, but the shrapnel comes you're not expecting, people have been killed with the parts of this airbag that are not supposed to coming loose and basically goring people.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, this is a big problem. Therefore, I see Port's position of saying, okay, guys, it's a 12-year-old truck. You know, in other circumstances, they'd probably look at you and say, okay, fine, let's work on getting you a trade and getting you into a newer model.
Right.
However, in this situation, you got two problems. You got Takata and a Sue Happy culture.
Right.
I wouldn't even go with the Suit Happy culture. I mean, 3,000 trucks. That's precise. That's pretty precise.
Well, okay.
And that's also pretty good, too, I think.
Why were they not listed when the recalls all first hit with the scandal?
But these have been rolling recalls down through the years. They've been adding to them. There's millions
like they're
of
not
vehicles.
really sure what all vehicles got that particular area.
By the way, our 2008 Chevy HD work truck that we have got recalled.
For the same reason?
For the same reason.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was either a year or two after the first recall started.
Now, how painless was that to get that replaced?
Honestly, painless.
Okay.
We were able to take it in on a Saturday. They changed everything out, got everything fixed, and sent us on our way. Now we're running out of time, guys.
We are.
So I want to get to this next point with you. I have a problem with this.
Oh, I've got a lot of problems with this.
A state police department is now launching drones. Sorry, and for what reason?
According to them, public safety, disaster response, and here's the one that bothers me: traffic safety. We don't have much time, but let me sum it up like this.
All right,
it's New York State, number one.
That does not surprise me.
Number two, their argument is to be used, these 4 drones that they're launching. And by the time they get done, they'll have some, 14 additional drones by April.
So 24.
No, 18.
18, okay.
Okay, but here's the thing. The thing is that they're going to send these in where it'd be dangerous for state police to go. But nowhere in all of this, including the officers' training, is there a mention of the public's privacy concerns. That's the thing. That's
my issue.
And it's mine too. I mean, I understand, but number one, I don't see any protection here for the motorist or recourse. Okay. Number two, how do you know that it's being used properly? Maybe somebody who, for whatever their own personal reasons, has access to this.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen.
Yeah.
That even if the state has got it together, you've got these assets available, and somebody misuses them for their own personal stalking or God knows what.
Yep.
And now you've got a problem.
Okay, here's my question. If I'm driving down a road in New York, and I'm driving down the interstate, I'm minding my own business, and all of a sudden, this drone literally gets in my face.
But you won't see it. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're up high.
They're not going to come down and try to stop you.
No, but that's even more sinister. You're being tracked. What kind of rights, what kind of privacy do you have as a motorist, law-abiding citizen, being, if you will, spied on? That's my question.
Okay, and this all goes back to the privacy concerns that I've had for at least a year or longer.
And Jack, and this may shock Sasha, I actually agree with you.
Yes!
Coming back, and when we come up next, the 2018 International Consumer Electronics Show, and later, the 2018 North American International Auto Show. You're riding Shotgun with Ken and RoadWorthy Drive.
Want more than your share of the road? Be sure to check out RoadWorthy Drive on Facebook.
Yeah.
Real quick, I didn't say a word because I knew that I would cause us to go over. This is exactly what those of us that have been following the technology and understand where they're going with this. I understand that a police force is strapped, okay? They are trying to monitor a society with millions of people with like maybe, an 8-to-1 ratio or a 20-to-1 ratio, okay? I get that. But by the same token, when you put an actual person in charge of an object that has the ability to survey whomever, spy.
I'll go you one better, and I've seen this on TV. You remember? Well, let's back up. You remember we reported here about a year ago, an autonomous. I didn't want to say police car, but an autonomous vehicle they were using in Dubai.
Yep.
they have advertisements for an item like that currently in the United States. I've seen the advertisements. My wife has seen the advertisements. Completely autonomous object. To be honest, reminded me of the TARDIS of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, right?
The way it looked.
Yeah.
They're advertising these as security drones.
Yep.
Or autonomous security. I'm using the word vehicle a little bit liberally, but they're under their own power going around. Again, the question is, as a private citizen, what kind of safety, what kind of privacy can I expect even when I'm minding my business and I'm law-abiding? Now, if I'm breaking the law, I would argue that I've given that up.
If
because
they
I'm
had
doing something I'm not supposed to.
If they had the drones readily available at certain rooftops, okay, and they get a call from, a 911 call saying that there's been a robbery, there's a rape in progress, something like that, and they immediately send the drone out there the same time that they put out the call to all available officers. And that drone goes to that location to survey the location and alert the police officers for the situation that's occurring. I absolutely 100% am behind that. But the minute that you actually send them loose at the dictation of a human being, we don't know if that human being doesn't know what his wife's doing at that certain time, what their ex-girlfriend's doing at that same time. We don't know if they've got hidden agendas. We don't know.
But here's the problem. The problem is they want to use these in place of, or like you said, to do certain reconnaissance with somebody monitoring from a distance.
Nope.
So in other words, they get the advantage of being out there with law enforcement being a backup. I've got concerns.
I do.
Nowhere in this piece that we talked about did it talk about the privacy concerns of the motoring public. We will monitor this because this has been an issue, and you heard it here first. I'm going to say it again. I actually agree with Jack on this one.
Okay.
I do.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, as you all know, some people actually have pools.
Okay.
Okay, most of them.
I'm right there with you. Go ahead.
Most of them have fences around them.
Yes,
Okay.
High enough that, quite honestly, you can't see a damn thing.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Unless you're a drone flying above.
Well,
Thank
unless
you.
you're a drone flying above, and what do you do when you have a husband and wife out there and they want to be intimate outside?
Well,
Yeah, is that
now-
technically public indecency?
Or is that an invasion of privacy?
Thank you.
Hold it. That's easy. I'm in my yard. Law-abiding private citizen.
My fence is up.
I am not in the public.
No. I got one for that, though. True story. It's happened like 4 or 5 years ago. A woman was walking her daughter, happened to see a man naked walking through his past his window, walking past his window. She was in the street with her child. She called the cops. The guy was arrested. She later sued that homeowner for emotional stress.
Okay.
And won.
But wait a minute. Was the window facing the street?
I assume so.
And how close is the street?
Probably 25, 30, 35 feet.
Or less. I mean, here's the thing. That gets to be a bit relevant. I mean, if you're in an apartment situation, there are apartment buildings in my town that are maybe 10, 15 feet off the street. If you walk through that, there's some awareness and there's some personal responsibility. But if I'm in a private home and I'm 50 feet back there, you're walking by, I'm walking through my living room, that's different. If it's right up on the street, that's different too.
Okay, well now we'll move on here.
We'll move on, but that's something to think about because it's shades
But see,
up.
even though you say that, my first thought is now we have a discrimination case.
Maybe, maybe not.
But again, like I said, I'm no lawyer. I only play one on the radio, so
On the radio. You have
I
the
have it.
jingle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. Let me reset this. It's 9 minutes.
Okay, 9. Here we go.
Oh, no, not yet. This isn't right. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
torturing this 1982 American Motors Concorde to make a point about warranties. The American Motors Buyer Protection Plan includes the only full warranty in the industry, covering every part for 12 months or 12,000 miles, even if it just wears out. The limited warranties from all other car makers don't give you that kind of protection. The tough Americans can back their high-mileage Concorde like no other car because Concorde can take it. More tough action from American Motors.
The tough Americans. If you're just joining us, welcome to segment number 2 of this hour of Roadworthy Drive. I'm Ken Chester. It's auto show season.
Yay!
From the Los Angeles Auto Show in early December to the 2018 CES and the North American International Auto Show in January to even my personal favorite, the Chicago Auto Show in February, there's plenty to see and plenty to talk about. For the remainder of this hour, we're going to talk about auto shows, starting with the CES, held in Las Vegas at the huge Las Vegas Convention Center. Now, I was there at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
I still haven't forgiven you.
It's huge.
I know.
And I'm telling you, oh my goodness. It would take days to see everything. Mm-hmm. It just would.
Ironically, it's days long.
What do you know? Anyway, the CES 2018 was held January 9th through the 12th, and they figured that they had 4,000 exhibitors, 184,000 attendees, and last year, even 1,200 speakers. And this has been going on for about 50 years. It's sponsored by the Consumer Technology Association. Now, I don't have time to cover every cool thing that they talked about, showed. I kind of picked and chose a little bit. And there's a reason why I chose this first one. The name of the car is Solo. It's a single-seat electric vehicle commuter car. It kind of puts you in the mind of the Elio.
Okay.
Only thing is, it's made in Canada. And they plan to start delivering them at the end of this year.
Okay, did they take up the Elon Musk way of building cars?
No.
Okay.
No. They boast a 100-mile range, and an 85-mile-an-hour top speed, and a $15,500 price tag. And it's designed specifically for urban commuting. Because it can go 85, it makes it legal to drive on highways, and because it's fully electric, it qualifies for the
tax credits?
Not just the tax credits, but the commuter lanes. The HOV lanes in a number of states.
Okay.
Now, here's the great part. Lithium-ion battery, nothing new there, requires a 6-hour charge at 110 volts to hit full capacity. Half that if you're at 220 volts. So if you've got a 220-volt house, 3 hours, you're ready to go. Modest interior offers basic amenities like a heated seat and radio, although it does boast a surprising amount of cargo space. Get this, with a storage nook behind the driver and a carry-on luggage-sized compartment in the vehicle's front. They call it a boot, trunk, whatever you want to call it. So, tax credits you mentioned, Jack, can drop the MSRP by $5,000. So this thing could just cost a little over $10,000 to own.
But this is a car specifically to drive in the city traffic.
Yes. And with a $250 refundable deposit, you can start. You may have yours by the end of this year.
And I have not seen a picture of this car yet. Now he shows me that. Okay.
Looks like an Elio.
No, basically it looks like a smart car that you could run over it and turn it into a pretzel.
Yeah, but it sort of looks like an Elio, the same thing. Elio's still trying to get it done. These folks have gotten it done.
Okay.
Okay, here's the next thing. Flying car. They actually demonstrated a flying car at CES.
Really?
Yes, they did.
I'm assuming this was outside in the parking lot.
No, it wasn't.
It was inside?
Yes, sir, it was.
Oh, my.
And it was Intel. And it was Volocopter. And I quote, Intel capped its keynote address at this year's CES by letting an 18-rotor air taxi fly across the stage. It's a thing.
Okay, it did not fly that far, but okay.
No, but it flew across the stage. Fully electric, planned to be fully autonomous. And they've got some money. Right now, it's a battle between Intel versus NVIDIA. These guys are both fighting to give you the control chips that run all this stuff. So they're all out. All out. It's the Volocopter VC200. And this built by a 50-person startup in Germany. Mm-hmm. Did I mention it flew across the stage? at CES.
You know, you did. I saw videos of it. I watched the live presentation that they had. Yeah, it
Pretty
looked
cool,
pretty
eh?
sweet. Looked pretty sweet.
Now, here's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, now I got a question.
Yeah.
Where are you supposed to land this thing? Because even if you can get this thing into a parking space,
It's called a virtual takeoff and landing vehicle. And we reported it here.
Yep.
Uber Elevate about a
Yep.
year ago. We talked about this at length. Dubai, Dallas, Los Angeles.
right?
Are all cities where this kind of stuff's going to get launched.
But what I'm saying is, you're going to take up more than a parking space to land this thing.
No, you're missing the point. They're building facilities to do this.
To hub.
Okay, you don't have that right now.
No.
And in most what I'm going
But-
to call cities, you're not going to have that kind of infrastructure
Jack,
in place.
they're putting them
Therefore,
on
you're
the
still
roof,
gonna have-
Jack.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
put
but
them on the roofs.
Here's my thing. Where's a parking garage? Where's a parking garage? The top level of parking garage. That's all you need.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yep.
Even if they don't actually have to build a hub, all you need in the autonomous future, in the flying vehicle future, the top level of a parking garage and your autonomous vehicle or your Uber is waiting right there to pick you up.
Okay, I want to get to these other two things before the break.
Okay,
Alexa everywhere.
I know that's right.
Alexa everywhere.
Yep.
don't like it.
I don't blame you, but they're working with something they call Alexa on board, a system that lets drivers access Alexa through the car's infotainment system, even when it's not connected to the internet.
No, thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Did you bring up R2D2?
Alexa everywhere.
Yep.
Alexa everywhere.
But R2D2, you're not going to talk about them.
No, I'm not. Ford and Hyundai are working with Amazon too. Now, I'm saving the best for last.
It's not the best.
Yeah, right here. Cabbies fight back
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
in Vegas against Lyft and Uber.
Who was providing free autonomous rides
Yes,
to
they
and
were.
from
Yep.
CES, by
Yep.
the way.
Yes, they were.
Did you happen to get the token, what the cabbies were charged to provide services?
Actually, the cabbies literally through their union were getting double what you could get for Lyft or Uber. But the problem is they've so fixed it where if you want to Lyft or Uber, you had to walk down, around. You probably had a 20-minute walk.
Yep.
Yeah, they're making it hard. Here's the thing. We've reported here a lot about how the cab companies were getting beat up and literally put out of business in larger cities. This is one city where the cabbies union said, you know what? We're going to fight back. We're not going to take this laying down, and we're not going out without a fight. Even though you're going to pay double to get a cab, but again, convenience, they made the cabs convenience, Uber and Lyft not convenient. So I'm wondering if this may be a playbook for other cab companies in other cities to slow the roll of Uber and Lyft.
I would have to agree with you on that because when you mentioned earlier that the medallion in New York City has dropped by 50% at least,
Yeah.
that's a concern.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, Car Lovers Delight, what to expect at the 2018 Detroit Auto Show, and finally, a peek of what's coming up in Chicago. Roadworthy Drive with Ken Chester is heard exclusively on the Roadworthy Drive Radio Network.
Roadworthy Drive. Like us on Facebook.
I got one thing.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah.
The coolest thing ever in CES this year was the Forward X or CX1. It was this little, like a carry-on bag that followed you wherever you were, hands-free. It was tethered to your phone that you would have in your pocket, and it would just literally follow you. And now it looks like, like your standard, pulling, rolling, suitcase, right? But here's my thing. As a Star Wars fan, we all know any techie looking at that immediately was like, I want an R2D2 mod for that device, and I want it to be able to, I need to plug in.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
And who's to stop somebody from snatching it at the airport as it follows you?
That's not important right now.
But it kind of is.
No,
I'm
basically,
just saying.
No,
Yeah,
no.
you're
Here's
right.
the thing. What happens is if the article is too far away from your phone, it's got a distance modulator, and when it gets that far, then alarms start rolling. And yeah.
Until they can haul it into a side door and disable the thing.
Look, all I'm saying is don't ruin my R2-D2 fantasy.
I'm slowing your rolls,
where
sis.
it rolls behind me.
I'm slowing
and I
your
can
roll.
tell it.
Security.
R2-D2.
Security.
Toothbrush, please.
Security. Not
R2-D2.
Not to mention a terror threat. Because could you imagine somebody loading that thing up with God knows what?
What? Yeah.
And just wandering along.
Why are you doing this to me?
And maybe hijacking the frequency.
But R2-D2 though.
Yeah.
Well, but
safety.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
Here's the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
My question is, how big is this thing? Is it compact enough to go in the bin above you?
Yes.
And if it is, isn't this going to throw up a huge red flag to TSA, and they're going to ask you to please step aside?
Because obviously it would have to be powered by lithium-ion batteries, which means it ain't getting in there.
Yep.
So, yeah, we don't have problems. No.
Okay, it's time to go.
Stop. R2-D2 though.
Hey, get over it, sister. That's all I got. Sorry. Hold on. Let me reset. Okay. I'm ready when you are, boss.
Hang on. I got to get to the next page so I know what we're doing.
Oh, my God. Knowing what we're doing. What a concept.
You be nice over there. And yes, again, I proved who has the power in this relationship.
Wow.
That's why we all like Jack.
Yep.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Where's the love, people? Where is the love?
But if this wasn't love, this would be miserable for you.
Yeah, that's what I get.
It would feel like work.
Yeah.
What?
Here we go.
This is the third segment of this hour of RoadWorthy Drive. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ken Chester. Now, for those of you who have not checked out our new and improved website, why not? It's www.roadworthydrive.com, and it's all new with less clutter, easier navigation, enabling you to get to what you want the most. From our behind-the-scenes video during the making of the show to audio clips of past shows, it's all there and more. The website is also a great place to find out where we are in the universe of social media. Sasha's our social media diva, and she keeps things light and lively during the week between shows. Check out our goings-on with social media and see how she keeps the social in our social media. Now, continuing on with the auto show theme of this hour, I want to focus on this year's North American International Auto Show, which is the official name of the show, held at Cobo Hall in Detroit. Cobo Hall. I got nothing nice to say. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah. It's dark. It's tight. I have been to what I call the Big Four.
Okay.
That's Vegas. I'm sorry. That's L.A.
Okay.
Chicago, New York, Detroit.
Okay.
I would classify Detroit as the most unfriendly, as the most red tape involved.
Oh.
And just, oh my goodness, and the rudest people.
Oh. Okay, now let me address the first
More
one.
rude than New York?
Oh, yes. Because here's the thing. You've got a lot of foreign correspondents that come.
Okay, that explains everything.
Exceptionally rude. You will get pummeled, beat up, pushed aside, asunder. And in fact, the only of the Big Four auto shows that I had to yield my camera for inspection and have them put a sticker on the thing.
Wow.
Not Chicago, not New York, not L.A., not even Vegas when I was there for SEMA. Detroit.
Okay, that would explain why you missed that car show.
No, I missed it because it's serious out-of-pocket money.
Okay.
It's a cost thing. I'd still go. I've learned how to deal with it. And basically, you can forget that first Sunday. Now, I don't usually go to the public days, folks. What I'm talking about is what we call media days for each of these shows. And each of these large car shows have media days. These are days in which the press, the bloggers, all of us that report on this kind of stuff get a run of the place. The automakers make personnel available. They do their introductions that way. That is why you get a chance to see the really cool stuff before the show opens, because they give us a run of the place for a day, day and a half.
Okay.
Now, in the case of Detroit, you're looking at 7,000 journalists. 7,000.
And if you're in a small hall anyway, it's going to get a little
I
cramped,
consider
right?
it small compared to Chicago. Now, the cool part is, if you're looking for heavyweight automotive people,
They're in Detroit.
they're in Detroit. And it was interesting. I watched one year I was there a number of years ago, a couple of days in, I watched the large executive of a major car company come through with his entourage, his whole entourage. Now, there's nobody in the hall. It's me, friend of mine from Popular Mechanics. We're watching the fella come through with his entourage.
Right, right. Complete with sparkling ladies,
Entourage.
flowing, rose petals.
He doesn't work for that company anymore? Entourage. I'm like, wow.
Okay.
That says a lot about the company. Anyway.
Is there a historical reason for the fact that they hold it at that particular building?
Because Cobo Hall is Detroit's version of McCormick Place.
Okay.
It's downtown. It's near Renaissance Center. They've been needing a new place for years, but it hasn't been happening. It's a matter of how much it's going to cost to build, where they're going to put it, yada, yada, yada.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Do they have a plan to...
No.
Okay, then.
Do remember, Detroit just came out of bankruptcy as a city.
I was not aware that they got out of bankruptcy.
Yeah, they did.
Huh.
Now, the Detroit show, the show itself is actually held from January 13th, and it will go on through Sunday the 28th. That's the public days. Now, all sorts of stuff. One of the keynote speakers, and again, Sasha will like this. I'm going to make Sasha happy.
Yay!
One of the keynote speakers there in Detroit is the fella in charge that runs BlackBerry.
What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Please, someone pay for me to go to Detroit.
BlackBerry is actually making the pivot in software.
Right.
They want to be part of the
Autonomous.
Framework.
Yes.
And they could bring a lot to it in terms of the safety and security.
Yep.
And that's kind of where they're going. Now, would you believe this show, they're expecting in Detroit, the public days, 800,000 people?
I would not doubt that at all. Now, is that what?
That's the public show.
What was theirs last year? Do you happen to have that?
I don't, but it would be similar, give or take.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what they expect. Now,
800,000 people in a small place, 4,000.
Yeah, but that's over a number of days. That's not every day.
Well,
that's cumulative.
I know, but still, if you think about it, divide 800,000 by the number
About
of days.
12, 13 days, you're looking at 60 to 70,000 people a day.
A day.
Yeah.
In a small place
Yep.
is crowded.
Uh-huh.
What could possibly go wrong?
in Detroit?
Here's the big question about Detroit. In the midst of all the cool stuff they're showing, like they're showing a redesigned Acura RDX, they're bringing Toyota's FT4X, which we saw in New York. Lexus is bringing a big new SUV, luxury to the wall kind of thing.
Really?
Go big or go home. Yes. Chevy's unveiling their 2019 Silverado. But the big question everybody's asking about Detroit is Fiat Chrysler going to sell to the Chinese? Remember, you heard it here first. I told you that months ago.
Say that again.
Is Fiat Chrysler going to sell part of their company or all of it to the Chinese?
Okay.
We talked about that.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about it months ago. I told you, honestly, they're the only ones, one, with the money, and two, with anything to gain. You know, you've got plants, you've got dealers, you can come in. Now, the big question, they're talking about maybe just Jeep and Ram.
Yeah.
And if that happens, Fiat, Dodge, and Chrysler are toast. There's nothing there, really, that's sustainable. And
you don't think with Chrysler the Pacifica would be enough?
No. One vehicle, and you're a dealer? No.
And why would you spend that kind of money when you could spend $7,000 more and get a Toyota?
Well, here's the thing: the Pacifica is actually pretty good. I had one.
I know.
It's actually, they redesigned it. It's a nice vehicle. My argument is you can't sustain a dealer body with one or two products.
No.
The 300's long in the tooth.
Yep.
It needs to be replaced. They don't really. I mean, you got the Pacifica, the 300. What else you got in a Chrysler?
Nothing.
And when you've gone everything together, you still are lacking unless you've got the Jeep piece. And that's what Jeep and Ram is what's making you money if you're a Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep dealer.
Yep.
So we're going to see. But there's a lot going on in Detroit, boy, I'll tell you, including a lot of Toyota's mobility vehicles,
And
which are going to be really cool.
You think we're going to have a decision that's going to be made at that auto show?
If not soon.
Okay.
Now, I do have a quick question.
Really
do you know if they're doing the autonomous rides also for Detroit?
I didn't see that.
Okay. I didn't either.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. For the fourth and final segment of this hour, when I return a peek at my favorite all-time car show, the 2018 Chicago Auto Show. I go every year, and that's next. This is RoadWorthy Drive.
Go to RoadWorthyDrive.com to check out Ken's blog, listen to past shows, and the times when you can see the show on Facebook Live.
Or YouTube Live.
Okay, but here's my thing. I got to tell you this right now. No one is asking about Diamond Chrysler. Like, no one. Crickets.
Wow.
Crickets.
Well, why are you
Nothing
hating?
do you have enough time?
Okay, number one, 2019, and in our next hour, I'm going to prove you wrong, because Fiat Chrysler is actually part of our Made in America story we're going to talk about, along with another
I said Diamond
automaker.
Chrysler. I'm sorry, guys.
Huh?
I meant Fiat Chrysler.
Yes, you did. Fiat Chrysler.
I know. It's one of
Fiat
those brand
Chrysler
names.
LLC. Thank you
I
very
don't
much.
like to acknowledge Fiat as an actual automobile.
They basically saved
how
the
many
company.
years was it Daimler Chrysler?
I know, right?
Not that long, actually.
And you did
about
not.
10 years.
I noticed you brought up the Pacifica. Do they not make the Town and Country anymore?
Uh-uh.
The
It
Town and
replaced
Country is now part of the Pacifica.
No, it replaced.
I thought that
No.
they were keeping the
Wait.
No.
I thought they were keeping the
No.
Pacifica and the Town and Country
No.
as one
No.
of the higher ends. Okay,
No.
never mind.
No.
Okay, now wait.
It replaced it. New frame, it replaced it.
Did they fix where the spare tire went?
No.
Then I still don't want one.
You know, such is life, people.
All right, you ready?
Oh, no, I'm not. 8. I got to set the clock.
You know, the
It's not
producer's
like
got
we-
to go. Excuse me. I thought when I read the contract, it said that when we're in here, I'm in charge.
No. Fine
Damn.
print. Fine print. I'm the female.
Oh, my God. No, Jack. No, Jack. No, Jack. No, Jack. Not now. No, Jack. No. Wrong time.
What
no.
I do not want is
No.
the snap, snap, snap.
Brother,
And what
you
comes
sure
after
don't.
that?
Okay, 8:50.
You ready?
Yes, sir, I am.
Here we go.
If you're just tuning in, this is the fourth and final segment of this hour of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm your host, Ken Chester. Thank you for dropping by. Now, this hour has been a look at the various car shows being held, from the 2018 CES in Las Vegas to the 2018 North American International Auto Show in Detroit. I've pulled back the curtain a little bit to share a bit of what's being shown. In this last segment, we look ahead a few weeks to the 2018 Chicago Auto Show being held in February. Now, for the last 21 years, the show has been held in the cavernous McCormick Place, and all that while, I've been in attendance every year, usually what we call media days. Media days are a time that usually held a few days before the official public opening of the show, where the automotive press gets a run of the place for pictures, interview with factory personnel, and more. If they waited until the public was admitted, we would never be able to get the awesome pictures and interviews that we do. As for me, just to give you an idea of what I do when I'm there at media days, in just under 2 days, I will have taken little over 2,000 pictures of roughly 100 to 120 vehicles, including production cars, new introductions, and concepts. It's a daunting task, but I think I have the process down by now. And if that's not enough, just like I did last year, I may actually try to get some interviews with a few factory reps on some of the new latest wheels. But I digress.
Okay, should I have asked that we cue Frank Sinatra?
Right?
To do it my way?
Right?
Well, not only to do it my way, but who's the guy that sung something about Chicago?
My Kind of Town.
Town Chicago,
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe that was...
I wish in the production meeting he would have told me that. I would have gone and pulled that.
Wait.
that song.
Back up that just a second.
all
There
I
was a
gotta
production meeting?
All I got
Yeah.
to say, if somebody read their production notes, they might have known that.
I read the production notes.
Ah, well, it was in the production notes.
But usually the host will tell me, hey, go pull this.
No, he likes to catch us off guard.
Never mind. I digress. Move forward.
Yeah, well, I love Chicago.
No, you can't tell.
About 1 million square feet under roof.
Wow.
People are a lot nicer.
Right.
The crowds are not crazy in terms of journalists.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've been doing it, it's been in the same place for so long, I've got my pattern down cold.
Are you willing to share some cheat sheets?
Well, here's the thing. Usually what happens in Chicago, and I'm talking about the media days, because honestly, media days are Wednesday through Friday. I believe that's February 9th through the 12th. Mm-hmm. By the time it opens to the public on Saturday, I should be back here, home, safe. A long way away, about 300 some odd miles from Chicago.
Before the wave of absolute madness.
I've been to Detroit during the absolute madness.
Well, and I've seen,
and it's not pretty.
I've seen your pictures that you have taken during the Chicago Auto Show.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way on God's green earth that you could ever get those pictures if you had to deal with the public.
No.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. Determining how they're parked, plus there are usually press introductions of new vehicles where they literally take the wraps off of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Now, the beautiful part about Chicago, a lot of what they show in Detroit and L.A., not all of it, but a lot of it makes it to Chicago.
Right.
So even if you don't make it to Los Angeles or Detroit, you're going to probably get about 85% of what they introduce there. Some of it they'll bring to New York, and I was at New York this last year. I'm hoping to get an invitation to go again this year.
Right.
But it was pretty cool.
Okay, my question is, can we get some kind of chronological order how the auto shows go? The first one is L.A., I'm assuming, because
Early
of
December.
because of the model year.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. But, in fact, L.A. used to be literally the week before Detroit, and they moved it back.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Okay, so basically it's now L.A., Detroit, New York, Chicago, New York.
Yes, but here's the thing. You got to throw in 2 more shows.
Yep.
CES.
CES now.
CES at the beginning, so it would really be L.A., CES,
Yes,
Detroit, Chicago, New York.
Yep.
But then you also got to throw in SEMA.
Yep.
That's true.
So it's literally SEMA in early November, L.A. in early December, Detroit, CES in early January, Detroit immediately after that,
Yep.
Chicago in early February, and then New York in April.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have this squeeze of vehicles literally from December to February. And, when L.A. was closer, I literally flew from L.A. to Chicago.
That's a long haul.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I was in L.A. one week and Detroit the next week.
I did that one a few years ago.
Yeah, it's not fun. They're saying that the public show in Chicago is actually the February 10th through the 9th. Now, again, there's a whole lot of things coming. One of the things I'm looking forward to seeing, I missed something. What?
February
you said
10th through the 9th.
Through the 9th. I'm assuming you meant 10th through the 19th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, media preview is 8 and 9, and the public show is the 10th through the 19th.
Okay.
There, are we clear now?
Yes.
Everybody
yes,
happy?
clear.
Okay. Now, the beautiful part, Ford Motor Company likes to introduce a lot in Chicago. Mm-hmm. They got assembly plants immediately south of town.
That's right.
So usually if Ford's going to introduce something, they like to introduce it in Chicago. So it's a great time to see what Ford's been up to.
You mean to tell me that they would rather do it in Chicago than do it in Detroit?
Absolutely.
I guess I can see that.
Chicago is regarded as one of the more consumer-friendly auto shows.
Okay.
And they consider it that most people that actually come to Chicago Auto Show, according to their statistics here, I'm looking at Chicago Auto Show at a glance, 70% of the attendees during the public days come to shop, with 65% of the attendees in the market to purchase a new vehicle.
Oh, wow.
Now,
They've got those statistics, and I haven't seen that kind of statistic in L.A. or Detroit.
Okay.
Right.
Do they go home and buy the car? Do they buy the car
You
at a
can't-
dealer in Chicago?
Well, remember, when you say Chicago, you're actually saying Chicagoland, and it's the Chicago Auto Dealers Association that's been sponsoring this for years.
Right.
So you're looking at probably maybe a 100-mile radius, easily. That would get a benefit.
Somebody could go home.
Yeah.
On the way home, and by the way, we're going to stop this dealer. We're going to go home.
Or go home to their home dealer and buy it.
Yeah.
Because we even see auto show sales, and we're 300 miles from Chicago. But around Chicago, you will see auto show discount. So there's benefits even this far out. So, so there's that. To quote a friend of mine that I actually know, and I've known him for almost 20 years, he's now the Vice President of U.S. Marketing, Sales, and Service for Ford Motor Company, Mark Lenerve. Mark says it's a popular show because it's most attended by customers. The Chicago Auto Show really kicks off the spring selling season, but not just for Chicago, which is critically important, but in my opinion, nationwide. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. Mark is not given for just idle words. I've known the man. He's worked for Cadillac. He's worked for Saab. He's worked around the industry. So we've got all that. I will say that the Chicago Automobile Trade Association, which is the dealers, have been producing this world-famous show since 1935. And on that, folks, another hour has ended much too quickly. For you, my dear listener, be sure to tune in next time right here when I have to do it all over again with the information you need. You've been listening to RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester is a copyrighted presentation of the RoadWorthy Drive Radio Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use is prohibited without the written consent of the Motor News Media Corporation.
And with that, Chicago's coming up. I'll talk to you more about Chicago in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward, as always. I've got my reservation. I've got my media credentials. I'm ready to go, and we'll talk about it soon. On behalf of the RoadWorthy Drive team, that's Jack, Sasha, and myself, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.